Hi, everybody. Thanks again for joining us for another presentation of high school football here on the Toledo Sports Network. As tonight, we're coming to you from Lake High School, where the Flyers are getting ready to host the Rossford Bulldogs in NBC action. I'm Mike Baum, and I'm joined here by Pat Eakin. And, Pat, we got an interesting one tonight. Todd Drew's back in his fourth year now for the Rossford Bulldogs. They've improved a lot. They're 3-2, just like the Lake Flyers tonight.
Yeah, this is third place in the NBC right here. Nobody's expecting Genoa to lose their last two games. I'm sure Woodmore will give them a battle, and who knows how that'll come out. Lake put a nice scare into Genoa. They're going to come out of here, and they're going to put a scare into Rossford. But this game could go either way, and you're going to see two high-flying offenses here that can score points. And you got Jerry Reddick closing in on 2,000 yards. Well, Rossford has a hurt quarterback, so we're going to see a second-string quarterback who's already putting up good numbers too. So, it's going to be an interesting game today here, Mike.
Now, if you're the Rossford Bulldogs coming in here tonight, obviously you probably have to get off to a fast start. Last week they had 5 turnovers against Eastwood, a tough loss. With John Allen tonight in the quarterback position for Sherman, who has a broken collarbone, what do you have to do to try to get off to a fast start tonight? Do you pull out all the stops if you're Rossford? Do you throw the ball?
Well, that's probably what you do, because that's part of their game plan. Between Sherman and his backup here, they put over 1,000 yards themselves up passing. Both of them have put up 500 yards, but the turnovers have to be eliminated. Lake has forced 20 turnovers this year and only had 8, and that's been part of their MO this year. So Rossford has to cut that down. And but coming off Eastwood, Lake lost to Eastwood. They both lost to the same two teams, Eastwood and Genoa. Like I said, this is third place in the NBC. And this is bragging rights. Two programs coming up, and where do they go from here? And this is where they establish that right now.
Well, we're going to get to see it tonight, so don't go anywhere, because when we come back, we're going to give you the kickoff right here on the Toledo Sports Network.
First Federal Bank is a proud sponsor of high school football in Northwest Ohio.
And here we go, as Rossford will be receiving the kick from Adam Duncan of the Lake Flyers as we get ready to take off here. And here's the kick. Noah Asmus back deep. Asmus takes the kick around the 8-yard line. He runs up the left side. He's got a seam, and he breaks it up across the 25-yard line before he's finally brought down over there. Brandon Short, one of the players on the stop for the Flyers, so nice pickup on the kickoff for Asmus. And as we talked about in the opening, Pat, the quarterback that is the normal starter for the Rossford Bulldogs, Sherman, is out with a broken collarbone. Last week in his place was John Allen against Eastwood.
And you know what I have to say to that? Who cares? Right now, it's rough to see Sherman go, but Allen has completed 40 of 77 passes for 565 yards in just the 6 games he's played in.
And that one, he completes it right away for about a 9-yard gain to number 14, Ryan Reed. So right on the call there, Johnny on the spot is Mr. John Allen. Last week against the Eastwood Eagles, he threw for 215 yards and a touchdown and was 15-34. So, tough situation for him to come in against a tough team like that in the Eagles, but he made the most of it. So it's going to be 2nd and 1 from their own 36 for the Rossford Bulldogs. In the shotgun here is Allen. And he's going to get pressured, and he throws it out of bounds wisely, getting pressured by 3 Lake Flyers that time. One of the guys back there for the Lake Flyers was number 80, Joel Denzik, coming in with the pressure. And that time, John Allen just has to get rid of it, Pat.
Yeah, Allen just showed a wise decision there, throwing it out of bounds. That showed as a heady decision, a smart decision. And, you can tell he's got some experience under his belt already. So, I don't think Rossford's losing anything here right now. They're going to gear up with what they got. And, they're coming after, not changing their offense or changing anything.
Well, Rossford running a spread no huddle. So it's an offense that's a lot more high potent than what we've seen from previous teams in the past. Drew's back now once again in his 4th season with the Bulldogs. 17 returning letter winners this year and a much improved team. And this is a fun offense to watch, averaging over 25 points a game. So here we go on 3rd and 1. Here's Allen, fakes the handoff. He throws it out to his right. And they're going to be stuffed just short of the original line of scrimmage. That time, number 81, Nathan Childress, a good basketball player for the Bulldogs, gets stopped on the little pass out to the right side. So good defensive stand that time from the Flyers.
Sure. Let's see what Rossford's decision is here. I don't see a punter coming in. So this is, 4th and 1. This is, we talked about pride. This is about it right here. This is 1 yard. We're going to get it.
So here we go. Let's see if they try to give him a hard count here. John Allen sizes it up. Out of the shotgun again. He'll hand it off this time. And making a couple men miss and picking up the first down for the Bulldogs is number 9, Dylan Lasevich, the 5'7", 165-pound senior.
And he's not real big, but he's closing in on 700 yards rushing this year already. And he showed some smart moves. He's patient, found himself a hole, and that was not real difficult yardage to get.
And this time Allen will keep it himself, and he will get stopped right around the line of scrimmage. Number 58, Tyler Scott, one of the guys in on the stop for the Lake Flyers, so it'll be 2nd and a shorter 10 for the Rossford Bulldogs. But that was a gutsy play for these kids to come in here right away. We talked about what they needed to do to try to establish some momentum early against the Lake Flyers, going for it on 4th down. So it's going to bring up 2nd and 10 from their own 41 for the Rossford Bulldogs. Out of the shotgun again, Allen gets the play, and he'll hand it off to Lasevich again. Lasevich makes a couple of men miss, but he's brought down after about a 1-yard gain. Getting off the pile there was number 13, Nick Walsh, and we know what he can do for the Lake Flyers, one of the tougher defensive players in the NBC. So it's going to bring up 3rd and 9, with a little over 9 to go here for the Rossford Bulldogs. Allen's got 2 men split out to his left, 1 out to his right. And he'll look to his left, and it gets tipped. And Childress catches the football for the first down. So it goes out of the hands of, it looked like Ryan Reed, number 14 for the Bulldogs, and right into the hands of Nate Childress for a first down. And that time, Pat, I couldn't tell if this throw looked like it was supposed to go to Childress, and Reed just tipped it. But nonetheless, as you see there in the replay, it goes right into the arms of Childress, and he wraps it up for a first down deep in the Lake territory.
I'm with you. I'm guessing, too. I think Childress was your man, but I'm not 100% sure either. Childress is a big target, and, it was a little bit high for Reed. So I'm guessing that was for Childress, but, maybe that little tip was a good thing. And, when things go your way, like tip pass there, that's kind of a sign of indicator of things to come sometimes, too.
And I think we're going to get a timeout for the Rossford Bulldogs here. So while they...
For over 100 years, you need a career. You need a future. Local 8 can help you make it happen. Join the men and women who build our community. Become a part of a proud tradition. Build your career. Build your future with the brothers and sisters of the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local Union 8. We're on the job for you.
We're on the job for you. We're the local IBEW.
Pub 51 is just a great neighborhood bar and grill. They're about as close to being all things to all people as I've seen. They have a miniature bowling league, and they take that pretty darn seriously. Oh, and a dartball league, and a cornhole league, and a pool league. They have a lot of leagues. Pub 51 has a big outdoor patio, too. Well, their pizza and food are reasonably priced, too. Give Pub 51 a try. They're on Woodville Road, just a half-mile east of the Woodville Mall.
Dave No Insurance Agency. 924 Dixie Highway in Rossford is a proud sponsor of Rossford High School athletics. Call him today at 419-666-8888 for all your insurance needs. Dave No Insurance Agency.
Twice now, third, fourth down, they've managed to get the first down. So, they got the challenge of facing them here again.
And here's Allen out of the shotgun. He looks out to his left, and he's got his man wide open across the 20, across the 10, and inside the 10-yard line down to the 5.
That was a smart pass by Allen. I don't know how he saw that. This kid's got good vision. That play almost looked like, where's this going? And he threw across his body there and just nailed it. Just nailed the pass and saw the guy who was open. That was just excellent for a guy who started the season, now replacing the starting quarterback who's injured. That was just a remarkable play.
So it's going to be first and goal for the Rossford Bulldogs. And the pass goes out to the right to Childress. Childress still on his feet, and he breaks the plane for a touchdown. So Nate Childress on the reception from 7 yards out for the Bulldogs. And just like that, a nice methodic drive for the Rossford Bulldogs, and they get on the board first, 6-0 with 6:58 to go here in the first quarter. What a drive, Pat.
Well learned. Every play, the focus was there. There were times in that drive when you thought it was over, and when this drive was going nowhere, and they just kept moving the ball down the field.
So here's the extra point, and it is up, and it is good. So with 6:58 to go here in the first quarter, it's the Bulldogs on a 7-yard strike from John Allen to Nate Childress. They're up 7-0.
The Union Plumbers, Steam Fitters, and HVACR service mechanics of UA Local 50 build the powerhouses that generate your electricity. Install and service your heating and air conditioning systems, and install the plumbing systems that protect the health of this nation. Everywhere there's a building being built, retrofitted, or maintained, members of UA Local 50 are on the job with skills and the latest sustainable building practices to do the job right. UA Local 50 Plumbers, Steam Fitters, and service mechanics, building America's future.
Winter's here, and that means getting all bundled up to get into your ice-cold car. Let the experts at Tas Electronics heat you up. Nobody has sold and installed more car starters than the professionals at Tas Electronics. We are Toledo's remote starter expert. Let Tas turn your vehicle into a toasty warm ride with a new remote car starter or heated seat for as low as $129 installed today. Keep warm all winter long with Tas.
Tas Electronics. Feel the power. Tas Electronics. It's hot.
Welcome to Educare Academy, state licensed for over 50 years. Step up to quality, star-rated facilities. We provide educational childcare for ages 6 weeks to 12 years. Our learning curriculum is developmentally appropriate for all ages. We offer certified teachers, hot meals, and transportation with 8 locations to serve your needs. Now, your first week is free. Call us at 419-704-2009 today. That's 419-704-2009.
I think once you have a prototype, it's a good idea to come forward and to at least protect your assets.
Because we need somebody that understands our business, not just that turns out patents.
They came highly recommended from other attorneys in Toledo.
I came to them and they walked me through the process, and I've been very pleased with what they've done.
They get the job done as opposed to bill us for doing work.
Fraser Clemens, Martin & Miller. It's a fantastic firm to work with because they'll guide you through every step of the process.
Moe's Place, downtown Rossford, has the best burgers in town and much, much more. Stop by for their famous Flaming Moe burger. Moe's Place, proud to bring you Rossford High School sports.
I'm Mike Bauman, joined here by Pat Eakin, and we thought this one had potential to be a high-scoring game, so let's see what happens, how the Lake Flyers respond. Here is Hector Aguirre on the kick for the Rossford Bulldogs, and it's a short one, and it goes into the hands of number 56 for the Lake Flyers, and they recover. Actually, my bad, that was 66, Matt Lowry. So I don't know if that was just intended to be a squib or an onside kick, but nonetheless, Lowry is smart to cover that one up.
Yeah, it was a short one nonetheless, and it gives Lake great field position. And right now we have one possession, one touchdown. You talk about a high-scoring game, that's a recipe for a high-scoring game.
And this is a man who knows a lot about points, Jared Reddick back there at the quarterback spot. And he'll hand it off to number 30. He breaks a couple of tackles, and he's across the 30, inside the 20. And what a run that time for Marcel Bryan on the carry that time. All the way from the Lake 46 inside the Rossford 30-yard line down to the 20, so a huge run from Marcel Bryan.
That was all Marcel Bryan. He had two guys that failed to wrap him up. Of course, he made the moves. He got open, and that's the kind of thing that defensively that I'm sure Todd Drusback is shuddering his eyes to right now.
And here's Reddick, rolls out to his right and finds his man open over the middle of the field for a 20-yard touchdown. Wow, just like that.
Just like that.
Joel Denzig on the reception for the 20-yard touchdown, and in 2 plays, the Lake Flyers are 1 point away from evening this thing up. And you talk about some of the big playmakers around Northwest Ohio, and you've got 3 or 4 guys on this roster for the Lake Flyers, Pat Eakin, that can score, and we just saw 2 of them right there with Bryan and Denzig.
Walsh, Bryan, boy, there's a lot of guys in this Lake team that can score. Walters, Adam Duncan, there's a lot of guys that can score in this team. Reddick, of course. So, if we're going to see points, Lake's definitely going to put up their share of points tonight, I'm sure, is whether Rossford can keep up.
So the snap is a little high, but the ball goes down, and Adam Duncan puts it up through the uprights to tie it at 7. So with 6:30 here to go in the first quarter, it's 7-7 Lake and Rossford, and we want to thank a couple more of the sponsors that help make this thing possible. Pub 51, stop out and enjoy all the NFL games. There's a lot of good ones this weekend. Make sure you check out our friends over at Pub 51 and Simply Green Lawn Care. Don't forget about Dan Rogers Sporting Goods, a local staple in Northwest Ohio for a long time. They'll hook you up with whatever you need. And Arturo's Pizza, one of the best-kept secrets in Northwest Ohio amongst all the pizza chains that we have here. A lot of people don't talk about Arturo's, but we love Arturo's. So just like that, a couple of high-powered offenses getting on the board early in this one, folks. 25.5 points a game for Rossford coming into this one, and 40.9 for the Lake Flyers, and you see why on those 2 drives, just like that. So we'll see how the Rossford Bulldogs respond here after a 2-play drive for the Lake Flyers.
No matter what, it might just come down to defense. Even though we talk about offense, it might just come down to defense and who can stop what here. We've got 2 coaches here, Drusback and Mark Emmons, veterans. Emmons had a great career at Wauseon, won a state championship. Drusback at Fremont St. Joseph Central Catholic. So these are veteran coaches with names well known around Northwest Ohio, and they know as well as anybody that this could come down really, while we talk offense, to defense.
And that was Duncan on the kick, and this time wrapped up right away. Nick Walsh down there, as well as number 8 for the Lake Flyers. Zach Greenies for the Lake Flyers coming up big that time on the stop. That was Noah Asmus on the return. So the Flyers are going to have pretty good defensive position here. And you just mentioned we talk a lot about offense. This defense has only given up 18 points per game this year.
Yeah, and this is it. This is Bulldogs have to answer, and the Flyers have to show that they can play defense here, because that last drive, Rossford squeezed right through them. And, it wasn't real pretty sometimes, but they got it done. And I think Lake is a little more determined not to let that happen this time.
Well, we'll see on this drive. So 1st and 10 from their own 15. Here's John Allen out of the shotgun again. He looks to his left, and he goes deep. And that time he overthrows his intended receiver. That was number 1 was his intended receiver. And we also don't have number 1 on our roster sheet, unfortunately, folks. So we will figure that out sooner rather than later. We also had a reception earlier for number 24. So it'll be 2nd and 10 for the Bulldogs with 6:19 to go here in the first quarter. And once again, the Bulldogs operating out of the spread no huddle. And here's John Allen. And a bad snap, and Allen just falls on it, rather. So they're going to lose about 4 yards on this play. So it's going to come up 3rd and about 14.
Well, if you remember that first drive, 3rd down, 4th down is where they're getting it done.
So that's unfortunate if you're a Bulldogs fan. It is a little windy down there tonight. My guess is it's probably around 42 degrees on the field right now, maybe even a little cooler. So in motion is Lisevich, and here's the snap, and it's a high snap, but we got a flag on the play. And I think we're going to get a false start on the Rossford Bulldogs. So just like that, not the way you want to start your second drive after you march all the way down the field for a touchdown on the first one, and just bad snap and a penalty, and now it's 3rd and 18 for the Bulldogs.
Well, I wouldn't count this quarterback out yet. It doesn't look good. Of course, they've got to make up 20 yards right here.
So in motion is Lisevich again, and Allen looks deep across the middle, and he overthrows his intended target, Nate Childress. So it's going to be 4th down and a sure punting situation this time. The Bulldogs converted a 4th down conversion on their first drive, but backed up all the way to their own 7 here. That would be a pretty gutsy call. So we've got the punter coming out here, and it's number 23, Nathan Clark. And here's the punt, and it's a short one, and it takes a Bulldogs bounce, and it goes out to about the 47-yard line. So 7-7 all to go here in the first quarter. 5:25 remaining here on the Toledo Sports Network.
Dave No Insurance Agency, 924 Dixie Highway in Rossford, is a proud sponsor of Rossford High School athletics. Call him today at 419-666-8888 for all your insurance needs. Dave No Insurance Agency.
And we welcome you back here. Lake's second drive of the game after they scored in 2 plays on their first drive. Here's Reddick. Nick Walsh in motion. And we're going to get a flag. So let's see if this is... Oh, we're going to get an offsides on Rossford.
Yeah, it looked like encroachment.
So Nick Walsh coming in motion, and when the flag comes out, it looked like it potentially could have been a legal procedure, but it's going to be a encroachment penalty on Rossford. So a couple of penalties now, back-to-back piling up for the Bulldogs. Mike Ballman joined here once again by Pat Eakin. Nice cool night for football here in mid-fall. And here's Reddick out of the shotgun. And he'll hand it off to Brandon Short. And Brandon Short charges ahead for the first down. And he's another one of those running backs in the stable for the Lake Flyers. And they had a big one last week. Brandon Short got on the board. Jared Reddick had 5 touchdowns through the air. Another rushing touchdown. Huge win over Elmwood on the road after that tough loss to Genoa.
Well, they put up, they're closing on 2,000 yards team rushing this year. And like we talked about earlier, they've got 4 or 5 backs that can get it done. And they've got an offensive line that right now seems to be winning a little bit up front.
And that time Reddick finds his man in the flat. That was Mr. Duncan on the reception. So that's going to bring up about 2nd and 8 for the Lake Flyers.
And the good thing under Coach Emmons is that this team has a running game and it's got a passing game. Last year, Reddick put up incredible numbers, but there was actually no running game to speak of. Matter of fact, the first game of the season against St. Joe, the win over St. Joe, they put up more yards rushing in that game than they did all of last year.
So here's 2nd and 8 for Reddick and company. He's in the shotgun. He's going to look, keeps looking, and now he's going to scramble. And he's going to keep it. He's going to keep it and run it. He crosses the 20-yard line and runs out of bounds. So he is going to be close to picking up the first down. And let's see where they mark him out. But I think he got it. And, yep, he did. So it's going to be a first down. Nice headsy play that time for Reddick here on the replay, Pat.
Yeah, and did I just see him just run by a defender that there was actually no attempt to tackle him? I think that's rough. That's rough when you're looking at the defense and what it needs to do. And he's quick. He's fast. He's athletic. He's a basketball player. He's an athlete. He's a baseball player. But,
And here's the double reverse. Brian hands it off to Walsh, and Walsh just fumbles, stumbles, and trips up over the 5-yard line. So the double handoff that time. Reddick handed it off to Brian, and Brian sent it back to Walsh, who was in motion. And the Rossford defense was all the way on the left side of the field, weren't really ready for that. As you see Walsh here breaking tackles, getting up across the 5-yard line.
It looked like a wing T counter, kind of like you'd see in a wing T offense. And, that's what Coach Emmons has brought to the table here. And that's why this team is more balanced, I think. It can do just about everything. And, that was definitely kind of a counter. I mean, there was probably a guard pole in.
Larry's Auto Care, 219 Superior Street in Rossford, is a complete auto repair shop and tire dealer. With 24-hour towing, let us put our expertise and experience to work for you. Larry's Auto Care, 419-666-0418.
Verizon and Moe's Place. They've got great burgers and more out in Rossford. And make sure you check out Rossford Heating and Air Conditioning. If you live in that part of the city, give those guys a call at 419-666-5699. That's 419-666-5699 for the Rossford residents. And here, their team, the Bulldogs. It's 1st and 4 on the 4 of Rossford for the Lake Flyers. And here's Reddick. He's going to roll out again. And it's out of the hands that time.
Almost intercepted. I mean,
it was close to being a pick, and I think his intended receiver that time was Duncan, number 23. So here's Reddick once again, Pat, scrambles away from the pressure.
Rossford just had their opportunity right there. Senior A.J. Santinella had a shot at that and let it slip through his hands. That's what can happen, and that's what Rossford needs to do. They're not, we still got a tie game. And just because Lakes moved it down to the 4-yard line, Rossford's still has a chance here to make a stand.
So here's Reddick again out of the shotgun with 4:04 left to go here in the first quarter. Duncan's in motion, and we're going to get another flag, and it looks like it's going to be a false start on the Flyers. So the Rossford Bulldogs get a temporary breather here after a couple of penalties from themselves, one on offense and one on defense. And now the Flyers are going to be backed up to the 9-yard line on second down with 4:03 to go here in the first quarter. So let's see if the Bulldogs can make a stand here in the red zone presented by Larry's Auto Care, 219 Superior. Here's Reddick on the handoff, and it's fumbled. And let's see who came up with it, but that handoff was juggled by Brandon Short. I think he was able to fall back on it and recover. So it is still going to be Lake's football. But penalty back and then a fumble back-to-back.
And now they're facing third down. You want to score here. I don't think you want to face fourth down. A close ball game like this, it's they have kicked some field goals this year. I don't think they want that, though. They want 6 points on the board.
So here we go for Reddick. He's got 2 men out to his right and 1 man out to his left, and he's going to look to his right, and he's going to hit Duncan on a screen, and Duncan makes a couple of men miss. He's still on his feet, and he's going to be brought down near the pylon, and I think he's going to be taken down at about the 1.
And he's short, but I guarantee you, there's no discussion now. They're going to go for the end zone.
So Reddick finds his man that time on a little bubble screen, and Duncan makes a couple of guys miss and stays on his feet. And the Flyers are going to take their first timeout. So with 2:57 to go here in the first quarter, it's the Rossford Bulldogs 7, the Lake Flyers 7. 4th and 1, will they go for it? We'll find out next on the Toledo Sports Network.
Rossford Heating and Cooling, 419-666-5699, is a proud sponsor of Rossford High School sports. Give them a call today for all your heating and cooling needs. Rossford Heating and Cooling. Larry's Auto Care, 219 Superior Street in Rossford, is a complete auto repair shop and tire dealer. With 24-hour towing, let us put our expertise and experience to work for you. Larry's Auto Care, 419-666-0418. Tonight's game is being brought to you in part by the Bulldog Diner, downtown Rossford. Come in and join us for some great breakfast, lunch, and dinner specials. Also visit our new location, Jill's Bar and Grill, at 1800 Miami Street, across from the Hollywood Casino.
And we welcome you back here on the Toledo Sports Network as Rossford with the big third down here. And he finds his man, Lasevich, and Lasevich makes a couple of men miss, and the ball comes out, and Lake recovers. Number 20, Colin Lloyd, recovers a fumble. Allen sends Lasevich in motion, and Lasevich catches a deep pass from John Allen. And in the secondary, Lake rips the football out. So what would have been a huge play for the Rossford Bulldogs results in a turnover. So the Lake Flyers are going to take over at their own 27 after the fumble recovery from Colin Lloyd. A host of defenders in the defensive backfield for the Flyers wrap up Lasevich. And just like that, the Lake Flyers have the football again. And here's the handoff to Brandon Short. And he picks up about 8 yards on first down. And, it was a problem last week, Pat, 5 turnovers against the Eastwood Eagles. Granted, they did put up 30 in the first quarter. They were rolling, but the Rossford Bulldogs hurt themselves in that game with the turnovers, and that was a big one right there.
And that's what Lake knows how to take advantage of. They have a 5-to-2 ratio advantage in turnovers all season. And that ball was stripped. I mean, there was a hand in there that just pulled that thing right out.
So here's the handoff again. And again, it is Brandon Short, and he will pick up the first down. Only needs a short few yards to do so. So the Lake Flyers slowly approach midfield on the legs of Brandon Short.
And you just saw the same thing there. Short just held that ball. There was an attempt there to take that ball out of his hands, and Short was not letting go.
So with under 20 seconds to go here in the first quarter, the Lake Flyers are approaching midfield after the turnover. Here's Reddick out of the shotgun again. He's got 2 men out to his right, and he looks to his left, and he's got Nick Walsh. Nick Walsh is in the flat, and he dropped it, and they're going to wave it as an incomplete catch and not a fumble. It was close, but he did not complete the catch, so I think the officials had the right call that time. So it's going to be 2nd and 10 from their own 40 for the Lake Flyers with 4 seconds to go here in the first quarter.
I think they did have the right call. That was close. I mean, he started to run with it, but he must not have ever had possession. He did get hit as soon as he tried to catch it. In NFL rules, it definitely was not a catch. This is high school football, and it's similar to college football. But, definitely I think they made the right decision there.
And this time Walsh carries it around the right side, and he picks up about 3 yards to close the first quarter. So a couple of touchdowns from Lake, one from Rossford. It is 14-7 as we head into the second quarter right here on the Toledo Sports Network.
From the kitchens of Italy to you, Arturo's Pizza Kitchen is the home of authentic Italian food. As one of the oldest independently owned pizzerias in Toledo, Arturo's Pizza Kitchen has been serving since 1988. With pizza, salads, award-winning subs, chicken chunks and wings, Mom's own lasagna recipe, and our famous cheese sticks, we have it all. Never frozen, always homemade. Arturo's Pizza Kitchen. Hungry? Call Arturo's, 419-698-1641. Dan Rogers Sporting Goods, 5340 Monroe Street is your #1 stop for custom team uniforms and equipment. Varsity jackets in stock and custom orders are available. Custom embroidery and engraving. The holidays are approaching, and for over 40 years, Dan Rogers Sporting Goods has been Northwestern Ohio's authority for sports apparel and trophies. Call them today at 419-885-4648. Dan Rogers Sporting Goods. Now is a great time to look at your lawn and decide it's time to make it look fantastic. Simply Green Lawn Service is a locally owned company that specializes in lawn care, with lawn fertilization, all phosphorus free, to crabgrass and weed control, grub control, and aeration, all part of the Simple Green program. 419-697-LAWN is the call to make any time of the year. Simply Green Lawn Services. First Federal Bank is a proud sponsor of high school football in Northwest Ohio.
And we welcome you back here to Lake Community Stadium. Another edition of high school football presented by Toledo Sports Network. I'm Mike Bauman, joined by Pat Eakin and the Lake Flyers. Still on the drive here. It's third down, and that time looked like a little miscommunication from Reddick and his receiver. So it is going to be 4th and 7 from the 43, and the punt team is going to come on the field for the Flyers. They got on the board twice in the first quarter, one on the legs of Nick Walsh, and the other one on a touchdown pass from 20 yards out from Joel Denzik.
Well, you know, we saw a rare third down there by Lake, and now we're seeing their first punt. I don't know if this is a sign of things to come here, but, you know, we're seeing two defenses that are starting to hold up all of a sudden.
And that's a high snap that time, but Jacob Reddick is able to rein it in, and it takes a little bit of a Rossford bounce before the Lake Flyers' Nick DeLauder downs it at about the 40-yard line. So it's going to be a nice field position spot for the Rossford Bulldogs, who are going to try to bounce back after a tough turnover after a big pass play to Lasevich deep into Lake territory. So with 11:48 to go here in the second quarter, the Rossford Bulldogs will take over on their own 40-yard line, 1st and 10. And here's John Allen in the shotgun. And this time he keeps it himself again, and nothing doing that time. A big hit that time from number 55, Lucas Labardo, blowing up John Allen that time. Good read by the Lake defense. And they're no strangers to tackling people, as we said, Pat. 18 points per game they're giving up this year, and that's a little inflated by the 40-plus that Genoa put up on them a couple weeks ago. This is a tough defense, one of the most improved defenses in the area compared to last season and the seasons past for the Lake Flyers. So here is 2nd and 12 for the Rossford Bulldogs, and going deep. And that time, John Allen is looking for Lasevich again.
Reddick almost had a beat on that.
And Reddick looked like he was coming in either for the stick or the pick, and it just sails over both of their heads by a couple of inches. So it's going to bring up 3rd and 12 for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, we're seeing two defenses up to the task all of a sudden here. We're talking about an offensive game, and then we're saying, well, which defense is going to pull up better? Well, now both offenses are struggling. We're not even seeing first downs.
So here we go, 3rd and 12 for the Rossford Bulldogs from their own 38-yard line. Here's Allen out of the shotgun again, and on the bubble screen that time, it is in and out of the hands of the intended receiver. And I believe that was Asmus was the intended receiver that time, so the Lake Flyers get a good defensive stand and force the Rossford Bulldogs into a punting situation.
We've had two straight 3-and-outs.
So here's Asmus back for the Flyers, for the Bulldogs. And here's the punt, and it's a decent kick. And it's going to take a nice Rossford bounce all the way down, still rolling. And it is going to go down inside the 10, so a huge boot that time from Asmus to pin the Lake Flyers back deep. And, you know, out here in Millbury, Pat, the wind can sometimes be your friend or your enemy depending on what side of the field you're driving to. And that time, Asmus gets a nice kick and a little help from Mother Nature, too, it looked like. It was a little windy down there in the open, and that time, nice kick.
Nice little bit from the wind, a little bit from the turf, 50-plus yards from the line of scrimmage. Nice punt, nice roll. That's the way you do it.
So the Lake Flyers are going to start this drive at their own 8-yard line with 10:50 to go here in the second quarter. Here's Reddick in the shotgun again. And it looks like he's got Marcel Bryan back there with him, and he hands it to Walsh on the double handoff. Had me faked out there for a minute.
Yeah, it was kind of a counter again. A little bit wing T is showing here a little bit.
And Nick Walsh picks up about 8 yards on the first down play.
And again, I think one thing we're seeing here is that Rossford's having a hard time tackling. They're getting fooled a little bit too. You know, Lake's not having trouble tackling so much as Rossford is. They've shown some, except for that first drive.
So here's Reddick out of the shotgun, and this time he hands it off to Brandon Short. Brandon Short still on his feet, finds the seam, makes another man miss, and he gets out across the 30 before he's finally brought down by number 81, Nate Childress of the Bulldogs. And that time, Brandon Short, who's kind of more of the power back out of this Lake offense, showing his moves that time, Pat.
Yeah, he slid right by two defenders, just kind of did a quick move and shuffled his feet and threw out his almost not really a stiff arm, but just kind of swept him right past him. And, you know, you're right. He's the fullback, that, you know, type guy, but he showed some moves.
So it's 1st and 10 from the 32-yard line for the Lake Flyers. Here's Reddick with 2 men out to his left, 1 man out to his right. And he looks to his left, and he finds Duncan, and Duncan comes in across the middle, and he gets brought down across the 40. And we have a flag coming in during the reception.
That's a hold on Lake. We're going to take this one back from where that flag is, 10 yards.
So a nice pass play is going to be negated on the hold. And that's going to put Lake all the way back inside the 30-yard line. So a couple of penalties from both teams here. And here's the Lake Flyers with a tough break that time, starting deep in their territory already and getting pushed back by a penalty.
Well, it's kind of, right now we're seeing, we thought we'd see 2 offenses moving down the field, but we're just kind of getting nowhere fast on offense right now.
So here's Reddick again. He's got Walsh in motion, and he's looking deep. And he's got Nick Walsh in the flats, and Flats cuts back across the field, makes another man miss. Oh, and he just trucked number 21, Andrew Steer. Got a face full of Nick Walsh that time. Wow.
But you know what? Steer took him down.
Steer
took him down. And
he did, but that was a tough hit.
Steer gets the tackle, and he took him down, yeah. And, he got run over, but, he took it. And he took what he had to take to bring him to the ground. And an open field, that's a credit to Steer.
So Nick Walsh that time lowers the boom and picks up a first down for the Lake Flyers at their own 47. And here's Reddick again looking, and he finds Walsh again in the flats. Walsh makes another man miss, and he picks up the first down. So Nick Walsh doing some dirty work out on the edges of the field tonight, Pat. He's been able to get open in the flats, and I think that's a lot of the attention given to Reddick back there. And some of those defensive backs aren't keying up on the receivers out in the flats.
Well, they're opening it up a little bit, and maybe that's what they need to do because, the offense was not.
And here's Marcel Bryan again. He's still on his feet, and he gets out across the 20. So as we're talking about opening it up, the Lake Flyers keep it old school, keeping the football on the turf, and Marcel Bryan that time patiently waiting behind his defenders.
It's coming back again.
As you see here. But we're going to get another.
Looks like a holding penalty.
Another holding penalty. So the Flyers continue to shoot themselves in the foot here. Unfortunately, if you're a Lake fan, they're unable to kind of string together a series of good plays here. So 2nd and 27 now.
Second and 20, I believe. Oh, no, you're right. You're right. They're taking this back.
So that must have been a block in the back rather than a hold, a 15-yard penalty.
Personal foul, yes.
For the Lake Flyers. So that's going to take them all the way back to the 42-yard line with 8:33 to go here in the second quarter. On the Toledo Sports Network, once again, I'm Mike Bauman, joined by Pat Eakin. We're going to get an opportunity here to say thanks to a few of our sponsors, Tas Electronics, IBEW Local 8 Electrical, and UA50 Local Pipe Fitters and Plumbers.
Yeah, just when you think Lake has their offense going, it's just mistakes.
So here we go as the Flyers, after the personal foul, 1st and 27 from their own 42. Here's Reddick. He's looking to his right, and he's got his man Duncan. And Duncan goes across the field, and he gets all the way back down to the 35-yard line of the Rossford Bulldogs. So just like that in one play, the Lake Flyers are able to erase that block in the back.
Yeah, and again, it was Steer that took the bulk of that hit by Duncan on the tackle, but Steer got the job done in open field, or he might have been going for 6.
So it's going to bring up 2nd and 3 after the big hookup from Reddick to Duncan. And here's Reddick with Marcel Bryan in the backfield with him, and he'll hand off to Bryan. Bryan goes around the right side, makes one guy miss, breaks the tackle that time from number 30, Cody Ego. Ran into his own lineman near the line of scrimmage and still stayed on his feet. And he's coming up limping on the sidelines here, so that is not a good sign if you're a Flyers fan. Reddick scrambles out of the pocket. He's been able to find Walsh all night on the wide side of the field. So let's see if this defense of the Rossford Bulldogs has an answer.
And the Bulldogs need to start tackling, too.
1st and 10 from the 25 for Reddick. He's going to look to his left, and he's looking deep, and he's got his man, and that was Walters. Walters caught it. Was he in bounds? And they give it to him. So a 25-yard touchdown pass from Jared Reddick to Todd Walters, and that time he throws it right on the money, and the official took a minute to finally give us the signal upstairs, but Walters was able to get 1 foot down in for the 25-yard touchdown catch. Here's the replay right here as he gathers, and boy, that was close.
He's in, though. You know, the one official noted that he pulled it in, had the catch, and the other official got the foot in bounds and give him 6 points.
So here's the extra point, and I don't know if they faked it or if it was just a bad snap, but Reddick runs around the corner for the 2-point conversion. Wow, so just like that, the Lake Flyers make this a 22-7 ball game with 7:06 to go here in the second quarter. Don't go anywhere, folks. Toledo Sports Network football. And we welcome you back here to Lake Community Stadium. The Flyers, after a 25-yard touchdown pass and catch from Jared Reddick to Todd Walters, and a subsequent 2-point conversion, which it looked like it was just a bad snap, and Reddick was able to make something out of nothing, makes it 22-7 with 7:06 to go here in the first half. I'm Mike Ballman, joined here by Pat Eakin. And all of a sudden, the Lake Flyers get a little momentum going. So let's see if the Bulldogs can counter. Here is the kick from Mr. Duncan. And this is going to go into the hands of number 84 for Rossford. He makes one-man miss, but he is wrapped up. And I think it was Nick Walsh again. And that was 84 for the Rossford Bulldogs. And he's another guy that we don't have on our roster, unfortunately, folks. So can't give credit to that young man. But a nice kick that time from Adam Duncan. And you see once again here, Nick Walsh is coming in to clean up the mess. He's been doing his thing on offense and defense tonight. No doubt is going to get some serious consideration if he hasn't already locked up a all-NBC type season. So it's going to be 1st and 10 for the Rossford Bulldogs on their own 22-yard line with 6:58 to go here in the first half.
Yeah, I think Walsh is locked in that All-NBC type season.
John Allen and company trying to respond. And Allen out of the shotgun. He's got 3 men out to his right. And he looks deep, and he overthrows his receiver, and it's going to be picked off by Adam Duncan. Duncan's still on his feet, and he tries to cut across field, and he's going to be brought down by a few of the offensive linemen for the Rossford Bulldogs at the 35-yard line. So another tough break for the Rossford Bulldogs. They were getting some momentum going earlier with Lasevich on a long reception, Pat, and the ball gets stripped, and this time John Allen just overshoots his intended receiver, and Duncan is right there to clean up the mess.
And that is a 22nd turnover Lake has forced this year, the second tonight. They've only had 8 of their own, and, that was what we were talking about before the game. That's what Rossford has to eliminate tonight. And, now Lake has a chance to keep piling on the points.
So 2 men out to his left for Rettig, and he will hand it off to Brian, who hands it off again to Nick Walsh on the double handoff.
Rossford read it that time. They were right there. So, that fools a lot of people, that type of counter, that type where you got a double handoff like that. But Rossford was right there that time.
So it's going to be a 2-yard loss in the play. It's going to be 2nd and 12 from the Rossford 37-yard line.
Rossford needs more plays like that if they want to stay in this game right now.
And here's Jared Rettig again. He'll fake the handoff, throw it to his man in the flat, and that's Adam Duncan, and that is going to be a little behind him and incomplete. So it's going to be 3rd and long for the Lake Flyers as they try to score again here in the second quarter. Rossford Bulldogs started off this game very well with the methodical drive going all the way down the field and getting into the end zone.
Methodical was a word for it. I mean, everything just fell right into place. When you thought they were down on that drive, they were not.
And unfortunately, if you're a Bulldogs fan, since that time, they've had a tough time getting the momentum going. But the Lake Flyers have responded. Here's 3rd and 12 now for Rettig. Rettig had Nick Walsh in motion. He looks out across the middle. He's got Todd Walters, and Walters just drops it. Sitting right in front of the DBs that time, and he just is unable to rein it in. So
I don't know if it's a cold weather or what, but we're seeing a lot of drop passes tonight.
And you see that time a beautifully thrown ball by Rettig that time, and
Walters
just not able to bring it in. So this is going to be 4th and 12 for the Bulldogs, for the Flyers, and they'll stay on the field.
Why not? It's 4th down territory, and you know what? 2 passes in a row dropped.
4th and 12 for the Lake Flyers with 6:04 to go here in the second quarter. And here we go. Brandon Short in the backfield. Nick Walsh in motion. And here's Walsh in the flats. Rettig keeps it himself, and he still throws it at the last minute. And they're going to say he was out of bounds to Todd Walters. So that time, Rettig, I thought he was going to hit Nick Walsh and see if Nick Walsh could turn it upfield. He elects to keep it and focuses downfield, as you see right here, Pat. Chasing him down was number 14 for the Bulldogs, Ryan Reed. And that time, Todd Walters catches it, and it looked like his left toe was right out of bounds. It was close, but the official was right on top of it. So it's going to be a turnover on downs, and the Bulldogs are going to get a chance to answer here with 5:55 to go here in the second quarter on their own 37-yard line.
And it's a turnover, and it's not the kind of turnover that goes in the turnover category, but it's a kind that Rossford needed right now.
And that time, John Allen throws it a little short of his intended receiver. Another one of those mystery men out there for the Bulldogs, number 1. So it's going to bring up 2nd down and 10 for Rossford on their own 37-yard line. A couple of turnovers already in the first half for the Bulldogs tonight. One when they were deep in Lake territory, the last one on the previous drive. So let's see if John Allen and company can bounce back here. 2nd and 10 from their own 37. Allen's got Lasevich back there with him. He fakes the handoff, fakes a short pass, pump fakes, and it's going to go out of the hands of number 1. So that time, a nice play from John Allen, fakes the initial little handoff to Lasevich and does a pump fake to freeze the defense for a moment, and he had his man across midfield. A little bit high, but once again, another drop pass, Pat.
Yeah, he had him. He had him just a little bit high. I guess you could call that, I don't know if the NFL, that's a category now. It's a stat, drop pass. I would give that to, I'd put that on the quarterback a little bit high, but it was catchable.
So it's going to bring up 3rd and 10 for John Allen. John Allen rolling way back this time. He gets Lisevich on the screen pass. Lisevich makes one man miss, and he gets popped hard that time. Nick Walsh on the initial wrap-up, and Jared Reddig coming in to clean it up. So a nice completion that time for the Bulldogs, but they're going to be short of the first down, 4th and 4. So Asmus is going to come on here for the punt. And no, he is not. They are going to go for it. It looked like they were going to go for it.
No, they are.
Asmus is not on the field. They've got John Allen back to punt, so let's see what they do here. They are in a punt formation, but they don't have their usual punter on the field. So I think the Lake coach is on the sidelines. You can see they are barking out to make sure. And he is going to punt it. It's going to be a high one, and waving for the fair catch is Duncan. So the Lake Flyers will start this drive at their own 30-yard line, presented by Verizon. Make sure you go to Verizon, the largest coverage of all the wireless carriers. And make sure you check out Moe's Place. If you're not familiar, go to Moe's Place. Great burgers and more out in Rossford.
That sounds good right now. A nice burger. Wouldn't that be nice right now?
Yeah. And make sure you check out Dave No Insurance at 419-666-8888. And don't forget about Rossford Heating and Air Conditioning at 419-666-5699 as Marcel Bryan turns up the field and gets across the 30-yard line. 4:45 to go here. A cool night out at Lake Community Stadium.
Nice shoestring tackle there by sophomore linebacker Nick Wagner. That's they got to start making tackles. I think Rossford's showing that they can get to Lake, but their Lake's backs are just too quick.
So it's 2nd and 9 from the 30 for the Lake Flyers as Jared Reddig has Brandon Short in the backfield with them. And this time he looks out to his right, and he has Adam Duncan, and Duncan is wide open. He beats Asmus, and again we've got another drop.
Okay, how many drop passes are we going to have tonight, Mike?
We've probably had 4 or 5 now just in this quarter.
Just in this quarter. This quarter's been, we've had 1 touchdown this quarter, and boy, you could contribute some of that to the penalties early on, but right now it's the drop passes.
So it's going to be 3rd and 9 for Jared Reddig and company. 6 and 2 on the season for the Lake Flyers. Their only 2 losses to Eastwood and Genoa, who for sure are playoff bound, and both of these teams here tonight trying to fight for a playoff spot. And we are going to get a timeout from Lake.
Cleaning your gutters can be dangerous. Take it from Marty.
For 30 years, I've been climbing up that ladder, cleaning out those gutters. One time, I leaned the ladder up there, and the feet were on the deck. The deck was a little wet. Next thing I know, the ladder kicks out, and I'm hanging by the gutter, and I start yelling for help. After that occurrence, I called Gutter Helmet.
Call Gutter Helmet for an estimate. 419-475-0000. Get Gutter Helmet today, and you'll never clean your gutters again.
Keeping you out of the gutter. We're the Gutter Helmet.
And they're going to have an opportunity here, Pat. I think the Lake is going to be kicking into the wind. So they're going to have an opportunity to have decent field position here, depending on where this puppy is kicked. So it's number 4 back there, Jacob Reddig, the younger Reddig on the punt. And here's the snap, and he gets off a beauty. And it's going to be a fair, or no, it's not going to be a fair catch. It looked like number 1 for Rossford was signaling for a fair catch, but
I don't think he signaled, and he took that head on, but he was covered, and
I was a little surprised that it looked like he was trying to signal, but I think he was just reaching up there for the football, but he got popped. That was a dangerous one there. Kudos to him for hanging on to the football. So the Rossford Bulldogs.
Rossford's got time here, and I tell you what, this has been interesting. Neither team's been able to generate any real offense, and Rossford's got a chance here now to bring themselves back to within a touchdown before half.
So it's going to be 1st and 10 for the Bulldogs at their own 41-yard line with 3:25 to go here in the first half. Here's John Allen. He's got 2 men out to his left, 1 man out to his right, and he'll throw it to his left. And that is knocked down by number 9, Drayton Williams. once again, one of those guys you got to keep an eye on.
Yeah, he's got some height there, and you got to get over that.
He's a big boy out there, only a sophomore. So it's going to be 2nd and 10 for the Rossford Bulldogs. John Allen's got one man spread out to his left and Lasevich in the backfield with him. He fakes the handoff again, the pump fake again, and he's got his man, but once again overthrows his intended receiver. And that was number 2, Charlie Moore, the senior. He was open out there, but the ball just sailed on John Allen. Once again, John Allen, this is only, I believe, his 2nd start, Pat. He started last week against Eastwood. Sherman is out with a broken collarbone, so John Allen has been forced into the starting position the last couple of weeks. So still getting his rhythm going out there.
Yeah, and he's overthrown the ball several times tonight. You know, he doesn't have bad numbers coming in tonight. He's already thrown for over 500 yards coming in tonight. He's completed 52% of his passes. So, but tonight he just seems to be a little bit on the high end of things.
So that is going to bring up 4th and 10 from the 41-yard line for the Rossford Bulldogs. And once again, John Allen back in the punt formation. But you give credit to the young man when your starting quarterback goes down, for him to come in already and throw for over 500 yards with only a couple of starts under his belt heading into this one. He'll get better with time, and that time he has a good kick, and it goes into the hands of Duncan. And the Lake Flyers, with a little over 3 minutes to go here in the first half, are going to start this drive on their own 26-yard line. And folks, make sure you check out Larry's Auto Care at 219 Superior. Give them a call at 419-666-0418 for all your automotive needs, especially with this cold weather and winter weather looming. Make sure you get your ride checked out. Do not ignore those bumps and noises. It's going to be 1st and 10 for the Lake Flyers from their own 26. Here's Reddick. He's got Nick Walsh in motion, and he'll hand it to Nick Walsh. He's got a couple of lead blockers, makes one man miss, and he is wrapped up by number 30, Cody Ego.
That was almost a wildcat. Walsh practically caught that. I think it was meant to be a handoff, but he practically caught the snap.
So that's going to be a 4-yard pickup on 1st down. Nick Walsh having a really good game so far. He's probably been the most consistent Flyer. Outside of that man, number 5 right there, Jared Reddick. And this time he'll hand it off to Brandon Short around the right side. Short looking for some room. And he makes a man miss, and we're going to get a face mask here. I don't think it was intentional, but that's number 56 that time for the Rossford Bulldogs.
He's just reaching down, making the tackle, but he's not getting down. He's not getting low. He's standing up and putting his arms down, and that's what been hurting the Bulldogs tonight a little bit, is their tackling tonight.
And that was Ethan Littledeer, the sophomore.
And this time it's going to cost him some penalty yardage. And he's giving the full-fledged 15.
So 15-yard penalty for the Bulldogs. And, folks, make sure you check us out online at ToledoSportsNetwork.com. You can find all our archive games there. Click through to YouTube as well. And we've got the DVDs available for you if you want them. Whatever game you want, 419-514-1302. Give the man in charge, Mike Jameson, a call, and he'll hook you up.
I think Todd Drusback's going to look at this game film, and Monday and Tuesday you're going to see tackling drills at Rossford.
You betcha. 1st and 10 from their own 46 after the penalty for Reddick and company. And he's got Duncan. And here's Duncan. He's got a lot of room. And the speedy Duncan comes across the middle on the reception and gets all the way down inside the 35-yard line of the Rossford Bulldogs. And you can see, once again, the speed and the big play capability of the Lake Flyers. That's part of what makes them so dangerous, Pat. Not only the playmakers they have on their side of the field, but anytime one of these guys touches it, they have the ability to take it for lot of yardage after the catch.
They're fast. You notice when we sit here, right in front of us, here in the last row, next to the press box, is a basketball coach, Ryan Bowen, and his brand-new beard he's sporting now. You should see it. And, when he gets to basketball season, he's going to have a lot of these guys, and he likes to put up a lot of points. And he's checking out this talent out here, and he sees that kind of speed, and it's contagious here at Lake. And boy, like when Duncan takes that ball, just like that, 30 yards downfield, he's gone.
And that time, a nice stop by the Bulldogs on defense is number 56. Ethan Little Deer comes up with the stop. So it's going to be 2nd and 10 from the Rossford 35 for the Lake Flyers. Here's Reddick, and he looks out to his left. He's looking for Nick Walsh. And that time, pretty good coverage by the Rossford Bulldogs. Number 85 in coverage for Rossford. And Nick Walsh is unable to rein it in. It was a little bit behind him, but a catchable ball. But once again, the colder temperatures tonight. This is the coldest it's been all season. And Walsh is unable to rein it in, as you see here on the replay. Pretty good coverage that time for Rossford. A little low, a little behind him. So it's going to be 3rd down here. And here's Brandon Short breaking through the hole. He's got one man to beat across the 5, and he is in for the end zone for the touchdown from 35 yards out. So Brandon Short busting through the line of scrimmage, and the downhill runner for the Flyers gets in the end zone again.
And now you've got a 3-touchdown lead, and then a game which, you and I felt could go either way. Or, I would have given Lake, I suppose, a little bit of the nod here coming in tonight, just looking at what they did to Genoa. And but I'll tell you what, right now they're just starting to run away with things, and Rossford's just letting it snowball on them.
So here is Mr. Duncan for the extra point, and this time the snap is down and the ball is up and through the uprights. So after a big 35-yard run from Brandon Short, it's 29-7 Lake Flyers over the Rossford Bulldogs with $1:20 to go here in the first half on the Toledo Sports Network.
Hope you're enjoying the game today. Hi, I'm Mike Jamison, president of ToledoSportsNetwork.com. Now, Channel 13 and the wonderful people here are bringing some great games to you each and every week. And we'd love to make your company part of what we're putting together here. We've got the reach and we've got the ability to get you out at a reasonable cost so that all of these wonderful people can talk about your business, whether it's on the internet, on live television, or live internet. You can give us a call at 419-514-1302. Let us spotlight what you have here with all of our unbelievable packages that we have, and we make it very cost effective for even the smallest business. Creative Video Imagery and the Toledo Sports Network is proud to bring you this game right here on 13.2, the Live Well Network.
And we welcome you back here to Lake Community Stadium after the 35-yard run from Brandon Short. It's 29-7 Flyers leading the Rossford Bulldogs now comfortably. After a few mistakes early from both teams, Lake's been able to take control of this one. I'm Mike Bauman, joined by Pat Eakin, and we have the kickoff presented to you by Blue Pacific Grill at Levis Commons. So here's Mr. Duncan on the kick, and here's the return. And with a little room across the right side, Rossford is going to be inside their own 35-yard line to set up this drive with 1:14 to go here in the first half, and an opportunity still to try to get some points on the board before the half is over. Started off the game with a touchdown on their first drive, but since then it's been some penalties, some overthrows, and 2 turnovers, namely, Pat, that really kind of steered this game in Lake's direction.
Yeah, and there's an opportunity here, though, and Rossford needs to take advantage. There's plenty of time, and you try to get 7 more points on the board.
So this time, Allen is going to keep it himself, faking the handoff that time, and it's going to be, looks like about a yard loss on the play.
And that's just going to let the clock run, so they're not looking for the big play downfield.
So
doesn't mean they're not going to try yet.
Rossford Bulldogs, 2nd and 11 on the 31-yard line to go here. As John Allen in this no huddle looks to the sideline for the call. And he's got 2 men out to his right. Or excuse me, his left, our right. And he looks out to his left, and he's got his man in the flats. It's number 1. And Drayton Williams tries to bring him down and still on his feet. Number 1 for Rossford gets up across the 50-yard line. And we'll just call him John Doe because he is not on our roster, unfortunately. But a good pass play that time from John Allen.
And, they're at midfield. There's still time.
And here he goes again, looking to his left. He fakes the first man and looks deep. Pretty good coverage that time by Marcel Bryan, but once again, the ball was overthrown by Allen. So at the very least, if you're a Rossford fan, you know the kid can gun it.
Well, he can throw the ball, that's for sure. He's got a nice arm, real nice arm.
Only a junior. Once again, he's playing in place of Sherman, who went down earlier this year with a broken collarbone. And that's a painful injury, so we hope that young man can recover. So it's going to be 2nd and 10 now. And this time he is popped. John Allen got hit hard. And it looked like it was 55 Lombardo who came in and finished off John Allen that play. And there's a little bit of action going on after the play, but Lombardo comes up to finish off the play and the half. So after 2 quarters of play, it is the Lake Flyers 29 and the Rossford Bulldogs 7. You are watching high school football here on the Toledo Sports Network.
The Arbors at Oregon and the Willows Nursing and Rehabilitation Center. We strive to provide innovative and progressive healthcare programs and services for the Northwestern Ohio area. We believe in quality care, compassion, and enhancing the lives of each individual. You can expect to find these values in each and every service we provide. Arbors at Oregon and the Willows, a nursing and rehabilitation center, is a leading provider of short-term rehabilitation and long-term skilled nursing care. Dave No Insurance Agency, 924 Dixie Highway in Rossford, is a proud sponsor of Rossford High School athletics. Call him today at 419-666-8888 for all your insurance needs. Dave No Insurance Agency.
And we welcome you back to Lake Community Stadium. 29-7 is your score right now. The Flyers on top of the Bulldogs. I'm Mike Bauman. I'm joined here by Pat Eakin. And Pat, we saw some drop passes in the first half. We saw a couple of turnovers on a part of the Bulldogs that the Flyers were able to capitalize on and kind of gain some momentum from. But so far, it's just been kind of one of those nights for both teams where they haven't really been able to string together a whole lot of consistency. So let's see if they can turn that around here in the second half. And here's the kick from McGuire. And it's a little squib kick. And it's going to be picked up by number 21 for the Lake Flyers. That was Nick DeLauder on the short return there. So the Lake Flyers are going to have good field position to start their first drive of the second half. And so far, Jared Reddick has pretty much played like Jared Reddick. I mean, he's thrown the ball pretty well tonight, Pat. It's just been a cold night down there. It is windy, and I think that's affected the ability of some of the receivers to catch the football.
Well, there's only 2 people that have been consistent. It's been Jared Reddick and Nick Walsh. Nick Walsh plays hard, runs hard. In the cold weather, he can do that. Jared Reddick's passes on target, but they've been dropped. Passes have been dropped. We've seen a lot of mistakes, and it's been who can play the most mistake-free football. It seems like we've had drop passes, we've had penalties, we've had both on teams, especially Rossford. I think Coach Drusback won't have tackling practice on Monday and Tuesday. Just tons of broken tackles. We've had penalties. But through it all, Jared Reddick and Nick Walsh, and of course a lot of the other Lakeland players have prevailed here, and they scored 29 points. Their offense has been on target, and if anybody's talking playoffs right now, as a result of the points they're going to get from this point, it's Lake right now.
And that time, Nate Childress coming up on the sack for the loss, and this time Reddick has got a man open, and he hits his man in stride. That's Adam Duncan, and he is going to go all the way to the house from the Lake 34 all the way to the other end of the field, and that time Reddick, Johnny on the spot, hits his man right in stride for the touchdown. And tough break if you're a Rossford Bulldogs fan, because Nate Childress had a heck of a play scrambling him up and then wrapping him up for a loss on the first play, and boom, just like that, it turns right around again.
And Reddick just right on target. I mean, what a pass. That pass, look at this pass. It's right on the money. And, sure, the receiver beat his defender, but right on the money. You couldn't ask for a better pass.
So the Lake Flyers, with 11:07 to go here in the third quarter, make it 36-7 after the big touchdown pass to Adam Duncan from Jared Reddick.
Pub 51 is just a great neighborhood bar and grill. They're about as close to being all things to all people as I've seen. They have a miniature bowling league, and they take that pretty darn seriously. Oh, and a dartball league, and a cornhole league, and a pool league. They have a lot of leagues. Pub 51 has a big outdoor patio, too. Well, their pizza and food are reasonably priced, too. Give Pub 51 a try. They're on Woodville Road, just a half-mile east of the Woodville Mall.
Second half getting underway once again here after the touchdown from Duncan, and now he kicks it off and making a couple of men miss and getting out to the 20, and the ball looked like it potentially may have come out.
I think he held on to it. He kind of lost a grip on it, but I think he able to keep it in his control.
And that was Jacob Burlage, who was one of our mystery men in the first half, and you see the ball did get stripped there. Good shot by our cameraman down the field, giving us a good look that time. But that was 84, Jacob Burlage, formerly number 3. The artist formerly known as number 3.
And, you know, Mike, that last touchdown was a backbreaker, but you know what? There's still plenty of time for Rossford.
A nice little pass to start off this drive. And that goes to number 1, Coda Sinclair, who used to be number 12 according to our roster. So we also made sure that we've got that John Doe taken care of this half. But the Rossford Bulldogs, you know, John Allen, we had initially thought that he didn't have as much experience, but he did start a couple of games earlier this year.
He did start the first 2 games. He started the Port Clinton game where he was hurt, and that's why he's put up all those numbers. So between Allen and Sherman, they've both done a great job this year and put up big yards. And see, now there's the catch. That's what they've been missing all game.
Nate Childress is also a tough guy on the basketball court, and that time John Allen hits him in stride. But, you know, that was a tough call last week for John Allen to come in, too, against a tough Eastwood team at their place with the way that they've been playing this year. But he still threw for over 200 yards and had a touchdown. And that's a good throw right there to get his confidence up a little bit if you're a Rossford fan. So it's 1st and 10 from their own 48 for the Bulldogs after the hook up to Childress.
Freedom Field in Pemberville is tough for anybody to come in and win.
And here's a low
game.
snap, and it's picked up. And that was number 35 that time, Nick Wagner, the sophomore, scooping up the ball off the field. So as you see, just a low snap that time. It looked like it was supposed to be a direct snap, and it just was not on the money, but Wagner makes the most of it. So it's going to be 2nd and 10 now for the Rossford Bulldogs as John Allen looks to the sideline from the call.
Well, at least he was able to get back to the line of scrimmage. And
he's got 2 men split to his left and to his right. And Lake scrambles in, and John Allen is just going to have to tuck it down and take the sack. Great pressure that time, and it looked like that was number 66 for the Lake Flyers. Matt Lowry coming in there to clean up the mess there. Missed John Allen initially and was able to come up with the sack. So now it is a long 3rd down, 3rd and 15 for the Bulldogs at their own 43-yard line. So let's see if John Allen and company can come up with a big one here.
Well, Allen's got some receivers and Childress. If they just got to start hauling it in. I'm sure Drew Speck talked about that at halftime.
And they go empty back there for John Allen, and he looks for his man, and he's got his man. That is number 24, Andrew Myers.
Oh, we got a fight here on the field. That's unfortunate to see. Unfortunate.
And we have flags come in, and Lombardo, we saw him get a little chippy earlier in the game. So there's some talking going on down there for sure, and the Lake Flyers are just going to pull him out and try to get him to cool off a little bit here. But let's see what the penalty is because it came out before it started. So let's see what it's a false start on the Rossford Bulldogs. And let's see if they add any additional to that. They're not going to. If they maybe got offsetting personal fouls here, but
well, I'm not too sure what was going on down there. You saw a couple players scuffling, and I'm not sure if somebody just didn't. I said a fight, but maybe it wasn't. I don't know what it was. Maybe somebody just landed on top of somebody the wrong way or something. But there's no personal foul, so we'll take that back. At least the officials didn't see anything.
So it's going to be 4th down and 15 for the Rossford Bulldogs.
Well, if they're just calling a legal procedure, I don't know how it's 4th down, but we'll go with it.
So John Allen is back there after some of the confusion down there in the field, and here's the snap, and he gets the kick off, and Duncan's going to call for a fair catch at the 35-yard line for the Lake Flyers. So with 8:33 to go here in the third quarter, it's Lake 36 and Rossford 7. And we welcome you back as the Lake Flyers get ready to start their drive from their own 35-yard line with 8:33 to go here in the third quarter. And here's the handoff. And it's Brandon Short, and he dropped the football. It gets stripped, and the Rossford Bulldogs recover. Number 21 on the fumble recovery, Andrew Steer. So the Rossford Bulldogs register their first turnover on the night defensively, and it's going to be a big one because it's inside Lake territory. As you see here, Brandon Short just fighting for extra yardage, and the ball comes out, and Steer is Johnny on the spot, Pat.
Yeah, Steer's been Johnny on the spot all night. He saved a couple of touchdowns. He's taking a couple of hard hits, and now, Rossford's got to put points on the board.
So here's first down, empty set for John Allen again, and this time he overthrows Andrew Myers.
We have another flag. This is almost like the first week of football, where you see a lot of penalties, and usually this far in the season you don't see that.
And it's going to be an illegal receiver downfield, so that must have been one of the linemen going downfield. And once again, the Rossford Bulldogs, Pat, just continue to shoot themselves in the foot here.
And I'll tell you, this is just one of those nights where penalties and mistakes. And I'll tell you, in Week 9, that can't be happening. You just can't. This is the next to last week of the season. This is a team that's 5-3, and they're making these kind of mistakes.
It's 1st and 15 now. And this time, Allen keeps it himself. He fakes it to number 35, Nick Wagner, and keeps it himself. And Tyler Scott comes up and makes a big stop. So that's going to be a little bit more of a loss. It's going to be 2nd and 17 now for the Bulldogs. Rossford, a couple of times, Allen found some wiggle room earlier in the first half on that read play, but they have seemed to have adjusted the Lake defense, that is. So it's 2nd and 17 from the 48 of the Rossford Bulldogs.
And sometimes that's what it comes down to, is those adjustments you make at halftime, and you can have a completely different game in the second half.
And this time, John Allen does find his man, Andrew Myers, the 6'1", 165-pound junior, over on the sidelines, so they'll make up for some of that early yardage. And it's going to be 3rd and about 6 that time, as you see Andrew Myers on the reception that time, one of the key players for the Bulldogs on the season.
Nice catch.
And
nice
they make it
Myers.
3rd and 6 from the Lake 41. So here we go, empty again. It's similar play, and this time on the reception, it's number 1, Coda Sinclair. And he's going to come up short. It's going to be about 4th and we'll say 2.5 for the Bulldogs.
With the score the way it is, I'm sure, and they're not even thinking they're in 4-down territory anyhow.
And this empty set's been working so far for the Bulldogs. So let's see if it works on 4th down, presented by Verizon, as the Bulldogs get ready to charge here and see if they can convert another 4th down. They converted one on their first drive of the game and ended up getting a touchdown. And here's the catch.
And he holds on to it.
And once again, that was Andrew Myers coming up big for the Bulldogs.
He held on to it, and that's the difference, and that's a first down.
So Rossford getting a little momentum going here. As once again, you see on the replay that time, Myers just sits right in front of the defense out there in the flats.
And he had to know that hit was coming. And, one thing Rossford's relied on all year is their defense. But right now they got to rely on their offense.
So it's 1st and 10 from the Lake 32, and this time they'll hand it off to Wagner. And he picks up a couple before he's met by Nick Walsh and a couple other Lake defenders as the clock continues to run. A little over 7 minutes to go here in the third quarter on the Toledo Sports Network. Once again, I'm Mike Bauman, joined by Pat Eakin. We thank you again for joining us on your weekend as we continue to bring you high school football from around the area. And this time, Allen keeps it himself, and he is shoestringed by none other than Mr. Walsh again. And I tell you what, that young man, you just see some guys on defense, Pat, that just have a knack for getting their helmet on the ball and finding where the play is. And he's a perfect example of a guy that goes out there and just makes tackles. You know when he's in, he's going to snuff out the football.
And that's why he's at linebacker, because he can get wherever he needs to be.
And it's 3rd and 10 now for the Rossford Bulldogs after the tackle. And a little pump fake for Allen, and he's got his man at the 10-yard line. Andrew Myers again. Another reception on this drive, and the pump fake for Allen and company works again as he freezes the defense momentarily, and Andrew Myers is able to get deep into that secondary before Jared Redding makes a touchdown-saving tackle at about the 8-yard line. So it's going to be 1st and goal for the Bulldogs as they are in the most placed red zone. And a bad snap here this time, and it is going to be a big loss on the play for the Bulldogs. Just another bad snap. And it looked like it may have been Lombardo who chased out Allen out of bounds. So they're going to go all the way back from the 8 to near the 20-yard line. And we do have a flag down on the field. So let's see what the call is.
Man, it looks like it's against Lake. So which could be a break for Rossford. No, it's a good. No.
So we got offsetting penalties that time. So the ball is just going to stay at the 18, I believe, after the bad snap. So offsetting penalties that time for both teams. We've seen it get a little chippy at points in the trenches. But nonetheless, it's going to be 2nd and 18 from the 18 of Lake for the Rossford Bulldogs. Out of the shotgun again is Allen. He fakes the handoff. He's going to roll out to his right. He's looking, still looking. He stops. He throws. And it is going to be picked off by Jared Reddig.
And Reddig just, boy, did he have a nose for that. Boy, I tell you, if he wasn't a quarterback, he'd make a great receiver.
And John Allen is upset with himself on that one. He rolled out. It looked like he kind of just locked onto his receiver that time.
And threw high again. He's had a number of high passes, but he's got, like we talked about, he's got a great arm. He's been on target. He's having a pretty decent night numbers-wise. But that one was over his receiver's head.
And it looked like he was trying to find his man, Andrew Myers, again, coming across the middle of the field and just sort of locked onto him that time. And Reddig comes up with the interception. So it's going to be 1st and 10 from the 3-yard line of the Lake Flyers.
Well, and that's going to back him up. You got an illegal procedure. You had a lineman move right there. False start against Lake. It's going to put him real close to the end, real close to inside the 2-yard line.
Yeah, kind of a little bit of a wackier game tonight just in terms of the penalties. I mean, we've done a few late games this year and haven't seen these types of mistakes. And on Rossford's end, too, it's just been kind of one of those weird nights. But nonetheless, it's going to be 1st and 11 now for Jared Reddig and company. And he's looking for the pass, and he finds his man, and it's Adam Duncan. And he's brought down over on the side over there. It looked like it was number 21 on the stop. It was Andrew Steer making another tackle tonight for the Bulldogs. So it's going to be placed at the 9-yard line. It's going to be 2nd and 4 with 5:38 to go here in the third quarter.
Steers had a good night. He showed a lot of guts here at defensive back.
Well, he got blown up earlier by Nick Walsh and got right back up, and that was a touchdown-saving tackle. He took a beating on that one from the big fella. But here's Jared Reddig. He has Nick Walsh in motion, and he'll hit Nick Walsh. Nick Walsh tries to make the first man miss, and he's going to be brought down for a nice gain for 1st down up across the 15. And Nick Walsh is showing what he can do out of the backfield tonight. They've used him in motion a lot. And he's been catching the ball in the flats, as you see again right here. Tries to shake Mr. Ryan Reed over there and gets the 1st down. So it's going to be 1st and 10 Lake from their own 16-yard line.
Yeah, Walsh is Mr. Sure. He's one guy who hasn't made a lot of mistakes tonight. And when Ball's in his area, and there's a nice pass by Reddick.
And there's Todd Walters. He hits him in stride. They try to get his jersey, and he's still on his feet. He's across the 25, across the 20, the 15, the 10, the 5, and he is in the end zone for the touchdown. Just like that, Lake gets on the board again.
And they started that from their own 5-yard line, that whole drive, about a 4-play drive.
That was an 84-yard touchdown reception from Todd Walters. The DBs tried to get to him. As you see here on the replay, Todd Walters comes across the middle, and that was Reed, I believe. No, it was Steer who tried to grab the jersey of Walters to slow him down, and Walters just keeps going. So an 84-yard touchdown reception from Todd Walters. And here's another bad snap on the extra point. And here's Adam Duncan, and he's not really going to have anywhere to go, but he's still on his feet. He stiff-arms somebody. Stiff-arms another guy.
He's not going down. He's going to keep.
Holy shnikes.
He's going to keep it this and keep it going as long as he can.
We've seen it all tonight here, folks. After that 84-yard touchdown from Jared Reddick to Todd Walters, it's 42-7 here with 4:45 to go in the third quarter on the Toledo Sports Network.
Moe's Place, downtown Rossford, has the best burgers in town and much, much more. Stop by for their famous Flaming Moe burger. Moe's Place, proud to bring you Rossford High School sports. Rossford Heating and Cooling, 419-666-5699, is a proud sponsor of Rossford High School sports. Give them a call today for all your heating and cooling needs. Rossford Heating and Cooling. Larry's Auto Care, 219 Superior Street in Rossford, is a complete auto repair shop and tire dealer. With 24-hour towing, let us put our expertise and experience to work for you. Larry's Auto Care, 419-666-0418.
An 84-yard touchdown reception from Jared Reddick to Todd Walters. With 4:45 to go here in the third quarter, it's 42-7 Lake. After that score, Mike Baumann joined here by Pat Eakin, and this one is going to be a touchback. But we talked about the big play capability, Pat, and we saw it right there.
Yeah, and you've got 2 touchdowns right there where Reddick has probably 160 yards in 2 plays combined, and now his numbers are going to really get up there tonight. I think he's going to get over the 2,000-yard mark tonight. And then you look at Duncan putting the ball in the end zone right there. He's a sure money on the extra point kicks. He's 45 of 48 this year. He's kicked 2 or 3 field goals, but a couple times tonight he's not getting a chance to kick the extra points. But he's really shown some athleticism even when he doesn't get to kick the extra point.
And that time, another bad snap. Once again, we don't know how much the cold weather is affecting the fingers of these guys here tonight, but another bad snap that time from the Bulldogs, but they do recover, so it's going to be 2nd and 15 for John Allen and company back there. And Allen finds his man in the flats, and he is going to go up across the 20-yard line. On the reception that time, it looked like it was number 1, Coda Sinclair again, and he is down on the field. So while they attend to him, he's moving his legs, so hopefully he's okay.
I don't see, or Woodmore, excuse me, Elmwood and Woodmore. I see Woodmore coming in and really potentially screwing things up, but I don't see Genoa losing both of them. So, it's really this is for bragging rights, and I would have given Lake the nod, but I'll tell you what, the spread. This beats the spread, what Lake is up now. I thought we'd see a closer game than this.
And that time it was Nate Childress, the big tight end on the reception, and that was number 1, Coda Sinclair, folks, who was down on that last play, but he was able to walk off the field on his own power. So I think he just got shaken up on that play, whether he got the wind knocked out of him or, just got hit really hard. He was still able to get up off the field, so that's always a good sign. So it's 4th and 1 now. And here's a pass to Childress, and Childress gets up across the sideline showing his speed, the big fella, and he gets out near midfield. And I tell you what, we've seen his limber athleticism on the basketball court, and he's showing it, the wheels there for Rossford offensively as a tight end.
He's having a nice game tonight. He's made some nice plays, some nice catches, taking some hard hits in those catches with his size. he can get a lot done. Boy, if he'd have broke free there, he might have gone all the way. He had one defender to beat.
And there's Wagner on the carry, and Wagner's going to be close to a first down for the Rossford Bulldogs.
And time's running out for Rossford right now. They need to get down the field in a hurry. But they are playing to win. They're still playing to win. Both teams are.
And I don't know if we got an equipment issue here. It looks like we do have an equipment issue with number 59 for the Lake Flyers. Looked like a chin strap issue going on there for Tyler Harp. So the officials caught that and got the other player in there. And here's the pass out to the left side. And that time it's just underthrown a little bit to Childress from John Allen. And you know what it is? You got to keep in mind, these are high school kids out there. And for John Allen to step in the way he has and throw for over 500 yards this year is, still pretty good. And it is, and the weather is really, it's pretty brisk out there tonight. And we're out here in Millbury, and anybody who lives out in the country knows there's not a whole lot. You don't have the city homes and buildings to block the wind. So it's the wind chill it's probably closer to 35 degrees, maybe even cooler down there with the wind chill tonight for these guys.
Yeah, this is almost like a third or fourth week playoff game as far as the weather. I've been to state semifinal games that I haven't been this cold.
And there's Wagner again, making a couple of men miss up the middle before he's finally brought down by number 20 on the play that time. Colin Lloyd, one of the men in on the stop. But you see here, Pat Wagner just lowers his head, cuts up over the left side, and Jared Reddig, actually it was Jared Reddig who made the stop that time. So it's going to be 2nd and 1 for the Bulldogs, and they're going to throw it again. And this time, Allen hits his man in stride, and Mr. Myers makes a nice move down in the red zone and gets in the end zone. So that time, that's got to feel good if you're John Allen. You're down in a game like this. You've had a couple of turnovers. That time, he hits his man Myers in stride, and Myers makes a nice move down the field to get in the end zone.
Nice looking pass. Hit him right in stride, like you said. And nice moves by the receiver to find his way, beat 3 defenders to get into the end zone.
So after that touchdown pass from Allen to 24, Andrew Myers, it is 42-14, the Flyers in front with 1:51 to go here in the third quarter on the Toledo Sports Network. To Andrew Myers, it is now 42-14 with $1:51 to go here in the third quarter. And after the little squib kick, we'll call it, number 21 for the Lake Flyers, Nick DeLauder picks it up, and the Lake Flyers will start their drive at their own 44-yard line. As you see here on the replay, DeLauder looked like he thought about going down and he said, you know what, I'm gonna see if I can get in the end zone. And Rossford was able to bring him down. So it is 1st and 10 Lake on their own 40-yard line with $1:44 to go here in the third quarter. I'm Mike Bauman, joined by Pat Eakin of the Press. And here's the first down play. Here's Reddig out to his right. And he finds his man, Todd Walters. Walters stays on his feet and picks up about 5 yards on first down.
Yeah, I think there's probably a face mask on the tackle there.
Let's see if they have it as the inadvertent variety or the 15-yard variety. There was one earlier that was a 15-yard personal foul.
He's calling a personal foul variety.
And they're calling it a personal foul. You know, from up here, it's hard to tell, but that's the second one tonight where they've given him 15 yards where it looked like it was kind of inadvertent. Yeah. You know, usually when you see a flagrant face mask, you see a guy's head turn, and right here, Todd Walters stiff arms him, and you know, from that angle, it didn't really look like it was malicious, but nonetheless, it's a 15-yard penalty. So the Lake Flyers are going to be at the other 40-yard line now of the Rossford Bulldogs, and Rossford tries to come in on the blitz, and they come in too hard, and it is going to be another 5-yard penalty. You said it, Pat.
And boy, I tell you, the penalty numbers are got to be way up there. I mean, this is just like we said earlier. This is for a Week 9 game. You know, Coach Dushbach cannot be happy. And I remember I was talking to a couple Rossford fans at halftime who I know well, and they said this team's relied on its defense all season. You know, wins over Bowling Green, a Northern Lakes League team, then Port Clinton starting out that way, 2-0, and their defense is really, really falling short tonight.
And that time, Brandon Short does his best Jerome Bettis and stumbles and bumbles forward for a first down for the Lake Flyers. And we're going to see Short get spelled here by Marcel Bryan, number 30 for the Flyers. He's had a great year, one of the shiftiest backs in the NBC. He's really shown what he can do when he gets the rock.
And now I just wonder if Lake will maybe keep the ball on the ground a little bit more.
So it's going to be 1st and 10 from the Rossford 28 for Jared Reddick and his boys out there, and he'll hand it off to Marcel Bryan. Bryan waits and cuts up through the hole, and he's going to get near the 20-yard line of the Rossford Bulldogs. And you know what? He's got one of the best probably 0 to 60s that you'll see in Northwest Ohio, too. I mean, he's shifty, but when he gets into that gear, he takes off quick. It doesn't take him long to speed up, and you saw a little bit of it there, even though he didn't pick up much. And we are going to close out the quarter on that run from Mr. Bryan. So, with 3 quarters in the books, it is 42-14, Lake over Rossford on Toledo Sports Network. But don't go anywhere because we got the 4th quarter coming up.
"100 years. You need a career. You need a future. Local 8 can help you make it happen. Join the men and women who build our community. Become a part of a proud tradition. Build your career. Build your future with the brothers and sisters of the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local Union 8. We're on the job for you.
We're on the job for you. We're the local IBEW.
The union plumbers, steam fitters, and HVACR service mechanics of UA Local 50 build the powerhouses that generate your electricity. Install and service your heating and air conditioning systems, and install the plumbing systems that protect the health of this nation. Everywhere there's a building being built, retrofitted, or maintained, members of UA Local 50 are on the job with skills and the latest sustainable building practices. To do the job right, UA Local 50 plumbers, steam fitters, and service mechanics, building America's future.
And we welcome you back to Lake Community Stadium here for 4th quarter. The Flyers comfortably ahead 42-14 over Rossford here on the Toledo Sports Network as they hand it off to Brandon Short. And he's going to be met immediately. Ryan Reed, one of the first men there on the stop for the Rossford Bulldogs. So the Lake Flyers, barring a huge comeback in this 4th quarter, Pat, are going to improve to 7-2 on the season. And if they stay ahead here, this is going to be pretty good in the playoff points for them in terms of their standings heading into the last week of the season.
Yeah, that's what they wanted. And you know, you're seeing them put the ball on the ground right now. You know, they just want to run some time. Of course, they want to keep getting the yardage.
And here's Reddick rolling out to his right. And this time he finds Nick Walsh, and Nick Walsh is brought down right away by Wagner.
He's got a first down.
Excuse me. And he does have a first down. And Nick Walsh, that's a guy that we've said a lot tonight. Just a tough kid offensively and defensively. He's got a nose for the football on defense. And offensively, he's done a great job, especially in the flats tonight. Rossford really hasn't had an answer for him outside the hash marks near the edges of the field. And he's made the most of it. So the Lake Flyers pick up another first down with a little over 11 to go here in the 4th quarter. Mike Bauman joined by Pat Eakin. And they are driving on the 15-yard line. And this time they hand it off. And here is Nick Walsh again. Or was it Brandon Short?
Yeah, I think it was Short.
It was Brandon Short on the run. And once again, Lake's version of Jerome Bettis continues to pound it up the middle and get positive yardage.
And that was a quick hitter. He just got right through that line in no time. You know, back in the day, I can remember when Liberty Center had a state championship back in the 90s, and boy, they would get the backs through that line before you even knew, before the defense even knew what hit them. It was just so quick, and you know, that's what you got to do. You don't waste any time.
And here's Marcel Bryan on the left side, and he gets inside the 5 and is brought down that time by number 56 for the Rossford Bulldogs. Ethan Littledeer on the stop.
And we got a flag again.
And we've got
after the play
more laundry on the field.
And he's calling this one against Lake.
And I think we got another personal foul, and I don't know if that was Lombardo. I'm not sure who the penalty is on, but I think whoever it is not going to be able to come back into this ball game from the motion it looked like by the referee.
Yeah, player was ejected, and that's unfortunate because I think now he'll have to sit out 2 more games, which will include a potential playoff game.
So I'm not sure who that was. I don't know if that was Lombardo. We've seen a couple of scrums here tonight, but Lombardo is still in the football game, so I'm not sure who got ejected, but that is going to be a 2-game suspension. And there's a pass, and that is going to be a touchdown to Todd Walters from 18 yards out after the penalty. So Todd Walters gets in the end zone again as the Flyers increase their lead to 48-14. And once again, you see Rettig, just a great spiral, one of the best arms in the area, and he hits Todd Walters again for another touchdown. And those two are one of the best 1-2 punches in the area in terms of pitching and catching, man. Todd Walters only a junior, so is Jared Rettig. And this time the extra point gets blocked. So after the touchdown pass from Jared Rettig to Todd Walters, it is 48-14 Flyers over the Bulldogs here on the Toledo Sports Network.
Jared Rettig's trying to console him right now.
And we welcome you back here on the Toledo Sports Network as the Lake Flyers get on the board again after another touchdown pass from Jared Rettig to Todd Walters. And by what we've seen develop on the sidelines here, it was, in fact, Marcel Bryan who was ejected. So if he indeed does have to miss 2 games, that's going to be a tough blow for the Lake Flyers if they indeed move into the playoffs. And this one goes out of bounds. So that's going to benefit the Rossford Bulldogs field position. But, it's one of those things, Pat, that you just chalk up to a learning experience if it's one of your kids that you can't get involved in the stuff after the play's over.
Yeah, and I see Jared Rettig trying to console him and some of the other players. And I think at this point you move on. If it's Marcel, I think he needs to move on and, be a part of this team and continue to, like you said, a learning experience.
So it's going to be 1st and 10 Bulldogs from their own 35 with 9:58 to go here in the 4th quarter at Lake Community Stadium. Mike Bauman, once again joined by Pat Eakin. And here's John Allen throwing out to his right, and he's got his man. That time on the catch was Charlie Moore, number 2, for the Bulldogs. And, the Bulldogs are going to fall short here tonight, Pat, barring a miracle, but they'll still have an opportunity to equal what they did last year, which is 6 wins. And considering where this program came from and where Todd Drewsback and his staff have been able to take them, that's still a pretty good thing to hold on to if you're the Rossford Bulldogs.
Well, Todd Drewsback's a remarkable person. He founded the Parker's Purpose charity when he was a coach at Fremont St. Joe, and it's a great charity, and I recommend anybody to just go to Parker's Purpose, Google that online, check out the website, email parkerspurpose@gmail.com, call Todd. You can find all the information you need. It's a great charity about a young man who it's named for, who was has muscular dystrophy by the name of Parker. A young man who in 3rd grade is when Todd first got to know him, and he started this foundation, and it's raised a lot of money and had a lot of great speakers. The speakers include, Ohio State coaches and just great football people from around the country have contributed to this. And if you go online, you even see Matt Campbell, the UT coach, is a promoter of this and kind of followed in line. And it's really grown what Todd Drusbeck has done. He's the president of Parker's Purpose. He's also the head football coach at Rossford, and he's just a remarkable man for a man to take this on and do what he's done. And it's raised virtually thousands and thousands of dollars for muscular dystrophy and other causes, and just incredible. I invite anybody to go online and look out what this great foundation has done.
And that time the run is number 35, Wagner again on the run, and we had a late hit by Todd Walters to set that up inside the 40-yard line. So another personal foul from the Lake Flyers, and even though they're winning big here tonight, I got to imagine Coach Emmons is going to be talking about that to his guys after this one's said and done.
Well, Coach Emmons, I think, can't even be happy with the way his team has played tonight. A lot of mistakes, drop passes, and you just saw a drop pass on Rossford's side. We've had a lot, and I'm sure the cold has a lot to do with that. Both these quarterbacks have done a great job. Allen has been overthrown a few times, but 90% of the time his pass has been right on the money. And but there's just some other things, and of course coaches are that way. They find things, and they're going to look at this film and find plenty to improve on, and they don't like to see these mistakes this late in the season, though.
And that time Wagner again on the carry. We haven't seen Lesevich here in the second half. We got word at halftime that he was indeed hurt in the first half, so that is why we have not seen him, and that's been another issue for the Bulldogs here. Obviously his health, Sherman with the collarbone, and Lesevich. We had another young man, I think it was number 67 earlier this football game, Stephen Carey, who went down too. So it's been a tough night injuries wise for Rossford too.
Rossford's had a number of injuries tonight, and so that's that doesn't help. When you're you're trying to get that third place spot in the league, and you don't have guys out there to do it. The guys you've been counting on all season.
So it's going to be 1st and 10 for the Bulldogs with under 8 minutes to go here in the football game. And here's John Allen again handing it off to Wagner, and this time, who else but number 13, Nick Walsh, on the stop for the Lake Flyers.
He just has a nose for that football, doesn't he? He just knows where he needs to be.
And speaking of no, make sure you go out and check out Dave No Insurance. We want you to say yes to Dave No. Give him a call at 419-666-8888. Dave No Insurance.
He knows insurance.
And he knows football because he's with us, too.
That's right.
So that's going to be an incomplete pass there at that time from John Allen's throw. 6:56 to go here. The Bulldogs driving in Lake territory. And you know what, folks? As this weather gets colder, make sure you take care of your home and your car. Rossford Heating and Air Conditioning, give them a call at 419-666-5699. And Larry's Auto Care at 219 Superior. Give them a ring at 419-666-0418. As we see the missed throw again from the Rossford Bulldogs is going to bring up 4th down. And we'd like to say thanks again to our buddies out at Blue Pacific Grill and Levis Commons. If you're a fan of just good food, man, go out there. Stir fry. We're in a day and age now where you pretty much get whatever you want in Toledo. We've got about every restaurant imaginable, but Blue Pacific Grill I am a fan of. You can get grilled chicken, fish, shrimp. It's absolutely delicious. Vegetables. And speaking of good food and good stuff.
And good football.
We get a touchdown from
Charlie Moore.
Charlie Moore from John Allen. They ate their Pacific Blue Pacific Grill. And it is 48-20 after that one. So John Allen hooks up with his pal Charlie And the Bulldogs get on the board for a Blue Pacific Grill touchdown. And here's Hector Aguirre for the extra point, and the kick is down, and it is up, and it may have been partially blocked, but it is no good. So with 6:48 to go here in the fourth quarter, it is 48-20 with the Flyers in front after the touchdown from John Allen to Charlie Moore.
But we're seeing scoring.
But we
are seeing
touchdowns.
the score's getting up there, which we expected.
So
despite all the weirdness.
Yeah. So we see Rossford get on the board that last time from a pass from John Allen to Charlie Moore to make it 48-20.
Now we're seeing some second stringers.
And that's a smart move if you're the Lake Flyers. You know you got this thing in the bag. You're up by 4 touchdowns, including extra points with 6:42 here to go. So you get a chance for the younger Rettig to show.
Yeah, we got another Rettig coming up.
Future
That's right.
Lake Flyer.
The future
here.
Rettig, yes.
But I give the Rossford Bulldogs credit tonight because they've continued to play hard. They haven't quit. They just have made some mistakes tonight that have caught them. And number 3 for the Lake Flyers gets a first down. Dustin Perkins getting up into the secondary for the Lake Flyers.
There's a Lake name we haven't heard in a few years, Perkins.
So Perkins picks up close to a first down, second and 1.
He's a junior running back.
And here's the younger Rettig in the shotgun formation, and he'll hand it off to Perkins again around the right side. Perkins patiently waiting for something to open up, and he gets up across the 50-yard line.
Boy, that was impressive.
So Perkins showing us his dancing feet out there, picking up the first down.
Midfield, and
so that's going to be 1st and 10 for the Lake Flyers at midfield with 6 minutes to go here. Mike Bauman joined by Pat Eakin here on the Toledo Sports Network out at Lake High School. And here's Perkins again. He finds some room, and he's down across the 20, makes another man miss, and he's all the way down inside the 15-yard line. Look at Perkins.
He's putting him out of bounds at the 17. Must have stepped out.
Showing the quick feet, and I tell you what, if Marcel Bryan is indeed out for a little bit, you know, Perkins showing a little bit of his moves here, Pat. Look at how close he is to the
quick.
sidelines
He
right
is
here.
quick.
And then he shakes off another tackle here at the end of it. Nice run from Perkins.
Right there is where he went out. Yep.
So
That
it's
was a
going to
nice
be
run.
1st and 10 in the Bulldog Diner red zone for the Lake Flyers. At the 17-yard line, here is Jacob Reddick, and he hands it off to Perkins again, and this time Perkins is shook down. So that is going to be 2nd and about 9.5 for the Lake Flyers, who
He still got a yard out of that, half a yard out
are
of that.
going to improve to 7-2, 4-2 in the NBC after this one. And with the margin of victory here tonight, it looks like they're going to be in pretty good shape for a playoff spot. And here's the handoff again, and this time Rossford is all over it up the middle. So it's going to bring up 3rd down. But you know, Pat, for the Bulldogs, when you consider the injuries and you consider the fact that they're coming into a stadium where the Lake community is always very supportive of their guys, an improving team, one of the best offensive teams in all of Northwest Ohio this year. You know, this is going to be a tough game regardless, but tonight Lake really hurt themselves with the penalties as we see the 3rd down play here for Jacob Reddick, and this time Perkins is brought down behind the line of scrimmage. That time it looked like it was number 56 on the stop, Ethan Littledeer again, but
Perkins
just some
is
bad
coming
breaks tonight for the Rossford Bulldogs. A couple of bad turnovers, some missed throws, some missed opportunities tonight to make this closer.
I think you take away the missed opportunities and you get a couple drives, now some drop passes, and you get a couple touchdowns there early on. And we could have had a different ball game, but you talk about Lake Stadium and the community. Boy, the Lake fans sure showed up. This has always been one of the nicest high school football stadiums in the area, and even before the tornado hit here, it was a nice facility, and it's good size. There's a lot of seating here, but I tell you what, Lake fans always show up in huge numbers.
9514-1302 if you'd like any DVDs of any of these grade A Emmy-winning productions that we put on here at Toledo Sports Network. And by Emmys, I mean golf claps from all of our lovely fans around the Northwest Ohio area. But no, in all seriousness, folks, we really love bringing these games to you, and we like to show off all the talent we have here in the Northwest Ohio area, not just in the Metro Toledo area, but in the outskirts like we're in tonight. It's truly a pleasure to get to do these games, and we appreciate all the support that you guys have given us over the years, and can't wait to bring you some more high school football in the years to come and in the playoffs coming up here shortly. And it should be interesting. We've had the opportunity to do some NBC games the last couple of years and show people what's going on in the NBC. And, we've had a lot of great games this year and a lot of great teams. I think there's more parity, Pat, than there has been in years past in the NBC, with Lake improving, Rossford improving. It's no longer a two-headed monster with Eastwood and Genoa in terms of the other teams that are gaining experience and talent.
It's a good league. It's a real good league. You bring in Rossford, Woodmore and Lake, and from top to bottom, it's a good league. You've got the biggest school in the league in last place, Fostoria. It's a good league, and Genoa and Eastwood have been the two-headed monster recently. But we knew coming in this year that Woodmore, Lake, and Rossford could be a threat to them, and Lake proved it. And then Lake, Lake gave Eastwood a game too. That was no laughing. Eastwood only put up 21 points on Lake, and compared to, the 40-something they put on Patrick Henry. It's gotten to be a good league. A lot of times I remember in the old Suburban Lakes League, you had a league with a few smaller schools, and now I think the NBC is primed to becoming one of the best mid-sized leagues in Northwest Ohio.
And that was number 1, Coda Sinclair, on the previous carry. As we see him again here, he went down earlier in the game, so it's nice to see that young man back in the game and healthy. As we approach under 2 minutes here in this football game, once again, the Lake Flyers are going to improve to 7-2, 4-2 in the NBC, while the Rossford Bulldogs will fall to 3-3 in the NBC and 5-4 overall, but will still have an opportunity in Week 10 to equal the amount of wins that they had last year. And you mentioned Todd Drewsback. You were talking about his foundation a little bit ago, Pat. He, really is a good guy. He's been a good fixture for the Rossford Bulldogs in that community, and he is improving this program. And I think that's the biggest thing for the Bulldog fans to take away is, they started at the bottom, and they're not at the bottom anymore.
He was the right guy to bring in, but you got to remember when they were at the bottom, they were in the Northern Lakes League playing against schools up to 3 times their size. A league that, I remember the old Rossford days in the 60s and 70s at Tisdale's, all the names. I went to Eastwood. I can remember Rossford's dominance and back in the late 60s, early 70s, and they were the smallest school then in the Northern Lakes League. But you know what? They were dominant, and I know the diehards didn't want to leave, but I tell you what, when it comes down to numbers, especially in football, high school kids are high school kids. Every school has their classes, and I'm glad to see Rossford in this league. And I think with Todd Drewsback at the helm, you're just going to see a gradual step back up, and that's something I think. If Rossford had stayed in the NLL, they'd have had their classes, once every maybe 5-10 years. I don't know, but over time, in all sports, not just football, it would have been. It would have been few champions compared to, I think, the larger schools, and I think they made the right move, and I understand the Rossford pride, and I understand the history. A great school district with a lot of sports history.
So Sinclair will hand it off to Wagner, and Wagner's going to get near the 40-yard line, and I think that just might do it. So the Lake Flyers take care of business in a bit of a strange one here tonight, but a fun one, and they'll win this one by a final of 48-20 over the Rossford Bulldogs and improve to 7-2 on the season, and really put themselves in the driver's seat after this win, priming themselves for a playoff position. And once again, folks, make sure you check us out at ToledoSportsNetwork.com. You can watch all our past games there. You can also check us out on YouTube. All the games are online as well. And if you ever want any of our past games, just call 419-514-1302. And we want to say a final thank you to all of our sponsors who came on board tonight. And Pat, as far as final thoughts on this one, I thought Rossford played hard, but once again, those 2 turnovers early in the game really turned this one around in terms of giving Lake a little bit of momentum. And the Flyers offensively, it was business as usual after that.
Yeah, they played hard. Rossford definitely played hard. Were there mistakes? Yes, there were mistakes. We talked about both teams' offenses. We knew they were going to bring their A game. 2 quarterbacks that we knew could fling the ball, and it really came down, I think, to defense. And those two turnovers and Lake's defense won that battle.
So for Pat Eakin of the Press, I'm Mike Bauman, and we want to say thanks again to all of you for tuning in. Have a safe, happy, healthy, fun weekend. Don't get into too much trouble, and come see us again next weekend as we give you the final week of the regular season on Toledo Sports Network. Thanks for tuning in, everybody, and once again, make sure you check us out on ToledoSportsNetwork.com.